Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is gonna be honestly a video I love filming every single year. Last year that I did this? I recorded a black book recommendation and TBR video. This year I am just doing a June TBR because I explained in my last book haul video that June is my Black History Month. It's the month that Juneteenth takes place in, and it's an actual full-size month. And it's also Caribbean month. So today's video is gonna be me showing you my Juneteenth Black History TBR as well as my Caribbean TBR. I also want to start this video off with a little bit of a disclaimer. If you do not believe in reading diversely in both genres and authors, you're not safe here. You're not safe. This is not a safe place for you. Please exit. Yeah, girl. We can start off with my Caribbean TBR because that is kind of the shortest portion of this TBR. The Caribbean month was kind of pioneered by this girl named Book of Sins on Bookstagram. I'm gonna link her actual website in the comment section so you can get into your Caribbean bag as well. So I'm gonna link her down below so you can find some book recommendations, see the different prompts that are going on. And yeah, I'm not really following prompts though. Starting off with the two Caribbean books that I own physically, I have The Book of Night Women by Marlon James, which is set in Jamaica. This is kind of an enslaved narrative. I honestly have a lot of enslaved narratives on this TBR because, like I said, I'm trying to get into history as well. I'm not just trying to laugh and giggle and have a good time. Taking place in Jamaica about this woman named Lilith, who is coming of age during the planning of a slave revolt. I'm really excited for this book, and I'm really excited to get into Marlon James as an author. He has a lot of really good premises of books. I haven't read any of his books. The other book that I own physically is When We Were Birds by Ayanna Lloyd Banwell, which is a Trinidadian and Tobago book. I'm interested in this book because I know that there may be a rainforest involved. And another niche obsession of mine, along with pirates and weird nature stories, is rainforest specific stories. I eat it up, especially if it's set on an island. I also believe that this is a magical realism type of book, which I'm also very excited to get into. I don't really read a lot of magical realism books, but I have this one and 100 Years of Solitude on my physical TBR to try to get into that also kind of encompass like family history. The other Caribbean books I do not own physically, but I have holds from the library for them. I have two middle grade books on my Caribbean TBRs. When Life Gives You Mangoes by Corinne Gedden, set in Jamaica. I know this book also involves a hurricane of some type. The girl can't remember what has happened before the summer that a hurricane destroyed her home or something like that. The other middle grade on my Caribbean TBR is The Year I Flew Away by Marie Arnold, which is a Haitian book, and it's a coming of age story and immigration story, which I really haven't read many immigration narratives, and that is something that I am really interested in reading. I do want to start off with reading fiction immigration stories first and then kind of make my way into memoirs and biographies, because I know that those are probably a lot rougher to read than like a middle grade coming of age immigration story. Last but not least on my Caribbean TBR is A Tropical Rebel Gets the Duke by Adriana Herrera, which is a romance book with Caribbean main characters set in Paris, kind of in Royal Society of Paris from what I understand. The love interest is a duke. The main character is a woman doctor in like the 1800s. Is this the book that I was reading the synopsis of, where she like doesn't want to marry him because she wants to keep her independence? I love that trope. In historical romance books, I love that trope. Like, she refused to get married because she doesn't want to give up her independence, and because she's like insanely smart, and literally that girl, I eat that trope up in every single historical romance book. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to get into that one. I did put all of those books that I don't own on hold physically at the library, and if they don't come quick enough, I'm gonna go ahead and read them on Libby. Moving on to my Black TBR portion of this video. One section being Black history, lineage, struggle, and futurism. And then the other section being Black freedom, joy, love, hope, and laughter. Starting off with Black history, lineage, futurism. This is my stack for that. Lone Women by Victor LaValle. This is a horror book. So Adelaide carries this trunk with her wherever she goes. She's migrating east, and whenever the trunk opens, people around her starts to disappear. And apparently it's a book with a ton of subliminal messages about grief, which I love that trope. I love a book with some subliminal messages about grief. That's why I ate Beloved up. I don't have any Toni Morrison on this month's TBR because I'm not gonna lie, Toni Morrison's books find a way to haunt me like it's no joke. And I think about her books for months after reading them, and I just can't do that right now. And her books are also sometimes incredibly dark and sad, but her books are so good. And one of the things that I loved most about Beloved was its subliminal messages about grief. So when you're telling me that this book has kind of that same vibe, yeah, I need it. So I'm interested to get into his work, and I think I'm going to start with this one because I've heard incredible things about this book. Another woman that I've heard amazing things about, and I'm putting both of her books on this TBR, but I know I'm probably only going to read one this month. Jasmine Ward. Sing on Bird Sing and Let Us Descend. I'm kind of leaning more towards Let Us Descend because all of my favorite booktubers, well, not all of, mainly Shelby. And honestly, every single Shelby recommendation that I've read, I've absolutely adored. I read Beloved because of her. I read James by Percival Everett because of her. Talk about somebody with some good recommendations. I read Real by Kennedy Ryan because of her and my mom. I read A Love Song for Ricky Wow because of her. I'm obsessed with you, Shelby, if you're somehow watching this video. She loves this book. A few people in real life have recommended this book to me. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to pick up, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be depending on whatever mood I'm in when I get to reading these. But this one is part ghost story, part road novel, set in Mississippi. Is this one set in Mississippi? Where is this at? This one's set in Louisiana. I live in Louisiana. Louisiana is my home state, so she's already kind of winning out of this which one am I going to read first battle. I'm just incredibly interested to get into Jasmine Ward's writing. I'm interested to read her stories, and I am obsessed with people with lyrical prose and just amazing writing. I love a good book that I can annotate very thoroughly. I love books like that, and I think that Jasmine Ward will be that author for me. And I think at least one of her books will be a new favorite of the year for me. The next book is a short story collection, Milk Blood Heat by Dantiel W. Moniz, which I've had this book physically for a while now. And I honestly need to read it just to get it off my physical TBR at this point. I think that these stories kind of revolve around motherhood, sisterhood, and family lineage type beats, specifically between women. And you know I'm gonna eat that up. I'm obsessed with women. You know I'm gonna eat that up. Then we have The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is also a magical realism story, historical fiction about this boy who kind of has this magical power surrounding water, which I'm interested in. I'm so interested in. I'm obsessed with water. I'm obsessed with the ocean. I'm obsessed with narratives surrounding them. That's why I'm obsessed with pirates. That's why I'm obsessed with sirens. I personally believe that I was a siren in my past life. I met Ta-Nehisi Coates' dad in real life, and he like toured me through their publishing house. I have a lot of random lore. Another woman that I absolutely must read this month, it's an absolute requirement, The Selected Works of Audre Lorde. Feminist icon, an incredible poet. This is a collection of her essays and speeches and poetry. I need to get into my Audre Lorde bag. I really want to one day be able to be like, I've read everything this woman has ever written. Her and Virginia Woolf, I need to read the entire backlist now. So I'm going to start off with this book. I'm trying to get further into my poetry era because I read a lot of Mary Oliver and I haven't really branched out from her. So I need more poetry recommendations as well. The next one is another author that I must get into. I keep saying this for like literally every single author on this TBR. James Baldwin. This is a collection of specifically his essays. The essay that I most want to read from this book is The Fire Next Time, but I do want to read this entire collection before the year ends. But for June specifically, I want to get into The Fire Next Time, which is the first essay in this book. James Baldwin, I've read one of his novels. I read If Beale Street Could Talk, and I liked it enough. I just don't like the way that men write about women. That was kind of my thing about If Beale Street Could Talk, was I just didn't like how he wrote about women. I am very tender about women. I actually don't. I don't even play like that. I am really interested in getting to his essays though. Speaking of women, Angela Davis, an autobiography. Look at this copy. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Like, this is everything I want from a book. She was once FBI's most wanted criminal, charged by the state of California with kidnapping, conspiracy, and murder. Later, she was acquitted because obviously she didn't do it. She's a communist, feminist, intellectual, symbol of the shattering 60s, leader in the Black Revolution, now a Black, brainy, and beautiful woman who likes to tell compelling stories about her life, loves, sorrows, relationships, the outrage that shaped a public genre, and her struggle for freedom in America. Yes, yes, just yes. I need everything about this book. I can't wait to read this one. I also started this one last year, but then I paused it to read Beloved, and I never came back to it because Beloved made me spiral. And also I got to page 6 of this book. I figured out some more stuff about Ronald Reagan. I hate that man. I don't believe that I'm gonna go to hell, but like I hope I get like a little intermission before going to heaven to go and catch my one with him. I must lay some hands on him. Everything I find out about that man is against my will, and I don't like anything that I've heard. I don't like anything that I've heard. I'm sorry, I'm low-key crashing out in this club. Last but not least, another author that I must get into. Dawn by Octavia E. Butler. This is the first book of the Lilith Brood series. This is a Afrofuturism story about aliens, and it's a science fiction. Basically what I know about this book is this girl named Lilith falls asleep and wakes up on a spaceship. Apparently this group of aliens have been watching Earth for some time and have kidnapped humanity to basically breed with them. From what I know about these aliens, this is like what is the most compelling to me about this story, that it's a one race world. Like the aliens only have one race and they want to breed with humans to have diversity. So there's also that commentary about what would humans do if it was actually just a one race. You get what I mean? Because we do all of this racism, classism, all of this type of drama, but like what would you really do if it was just one race on Earth? I don't think you would be quite happy with that, actually. I'm also there because science fiction has grown to be my favorite genre. I could really talk all day about diversity because I feel like there's some spiritual connections to diversity as well, and also creation in general, because like literally nothing on Earth isn't diverse. There's not a single plant that doesn't have a diverse family. There's not. I could go all day. I could go all day. Let's stop now. Moving on to last section for my Black TBR. Black happiness, love, hope, and freedom. Insanely romance, because Black love is revolutionary. Black love is rebellion. Of course, the first 2 books I put on this list in terms of romance is Beverly Jenkins. She's taking it. Every single book that I've read by this woman has been absolutely phenomenal and fantastic. I have not read a bad or a mediocre Beverly Jenkins book. All of her books have been either good or fantastic. So this one is a pirate romance. Yeah, that's another reason why I love this woman, is because most of the times her male main character is either a pirate, a regular man, or a cowboy. And I'm obsessed with pirates and cowboys. I really am. Do I believe that my soulmate would be a pirate or a cowboy? Maybe not. That's another reason why I eat up her books. This one, I believe, it is a pirate romance. And her books sometimes are enslaved romance narratives. So the characters could be enslaved and still falling in love. And I believe that Beverly Jenkins is like the pioneer of historical romance and like the best example of what historical romances should be, because this woman does not shy away from the stuff that's going on in history during that time period. And I talked about this in my last wrap-up that I did, where I talked about how I hate reading a romance book, especially a historical romance book, and we're not talking about any of the historical significance surrounding the book. It really drives me crazy, because why is it set in history if we're not talking about the history? It can be set present day. It can just be set present day. If you're not going to talk about the history, it doesn't need to be historical. As well, she writes very ambitious and interesting characters. The main character has goals and ambitions. The love interest has goals and ambitions. They both have their own jobs and hopes. And I love how like fully fleshed out her books are, how fully fleshed out her characters are. Also like the cultural elements that she throws into her books. So I have Captured by her on my TBR and Midnight. Captured, I believe, is the start of a series, and Midnight is also the start of a series. I'm gonna read this woman's entire backlist probably between this year and next year. I am so deep into her lore and into her entire backlist. I need them all. And Midnight is about a revolution that's coming about, a worldly adventurer, which to me also means pirate. You know, we're just finding synonyms for pirate. The main character is a spy. I'm just now finding this out with you. Girl, I'm gonna be for sure 100% getting into these two Beverly Jean, because this month, if I don't read anything else on this list, I know I'm reading these two. Another romance book I have on the TBR is Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. I've had this book sitting in my room for about 3 weeks now, and the library has been emailing me about it nonstop because it needs to be returned. But friends to lovers, friends to lovers, friends to lovers. I don't really know anything else about the book. Oh, what I also do know is that this is another Shelby recommendation. The last romance I have on this TBR. Is Taking It Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. Now you're probably wondering, because I've read this book 5 times. Front to back. 5 times. And this month I'm hoping to make it my 6th time. I am deeply obsessed with this book. This is my OG favorite romance book. I will go to my grave thinking about this book. And Zephyr, like I told y'all, I've been married to Zephyr for about 4 years now. Going on 5. I love him. I rant and rave about Stoker from the Veronica Spiegel series. And Stoker, that's my boo too. But Zephyr's my husband. I get down, I don't play about this man. Friends to lovers, workplace romance, cinnamon roll, grumpy soft man. This book is so good to me. This was the first romance book that I read where it's like an insufferably smart bookworm woman that's obsessed with her academics, that's obsessed with her work life. She loves what she does and she's passionate about what she does. And she's also just like a science girly, an English girly, a bookworm, a PhD student. She is that girl. This was the first book that I read with a main character like that made me feel like I could possibly fall in love. Because I read a lot of romance books that made me believe that love exists. But this book made me feel like love is for me. You know what I mean? Like, I could be in love. This was the first book that made me feel that way. So it will forever hold a special place in my heart. And then last but not least, in general, I have this one also kind of counts for Read Caribbean as well. My Favorite Plant by Jamaica Kincaid, Writers and Gardeners on the Plants They Love. This is a collection of essays. It's about the passion for gardening and the passion for words. Collection of essays about both writing and gardening, writing and plants, which I know I'm gonna eat up. I know I'm gonna eat this up. This is another kind of definite TBR. This is my TBR. That is my entire TBR for the month of June. I am so incredibly excited for all of the books that I talked about in today's video. If you have specific June TBRs for Read Caribbean month, for Pride month, anything on your June TBR that's kind of curated to a specific thing or a group of people, please let me know. Yeah, those are all the books I have to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll definitely be letting you know which ones I read in my June wrap up. Hopefully I read at least like 90% of these books. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Bye.